afternoon, and good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel and coffee stream number 152. And I hope everyone's having a great day. I am feeling much better today. Definitely coming back from the dead, so to speak. I was not feeling at all well yesterday, but I hope that my stuffed up voice is a little bit a little bit easier for you guys to bear today. I've got some news stories for you, and I hope to have some fun discussions with you all today. Let's see who's here. Moonshock is here. Hi, Seamus is here. Let's see. Calvic AD is here. Ezub is here. Duck Dog is here. Green Thunder is here. Zombie Teddy is here. All You Need is here. Blake Hanley is here. Hello to all of you. Hello to all of you. Great to see you all here. Let's see. Is anyone else trickling in? Rolling Bear is here. RVA is here. Hello. So yeah, while chat is trickling in, I am going to get the news stories set up here. And the way we're going to do this so that I don't lose my stupid hangout again, because that was really annoying yesterday when that happened. I am going to pull up the news now. And I'm going to open a new window and not a new tab. So, please bear with me here. Pinkalo has sent quite a few stories here over that we're going to cover. Sorry, and I have a couple as well. So we've got plenty of news for us today. We're going to go for as long as I can do it. Or if Logan wakes up, obviously we'll have to stop. But hi, Brad. Let's see. All right. What messages or what stories does Pinkalo have for us today? What's this? Monstrous sex offender tries to have charges set aside due to mistreatment in jail. Okay. Let's read about this dumbass piece of shit. If I could get to the heading. There it is. So this is from Edmonton, Alberta. It was yesterday, April 29th. All right, here we go.
Edmonton, a father who admitted to sexually abusing his 3 daughters and arranging for a stranger to brutally assault one of them on camera has applied to have his charges stayed after he says he was mistreated in the Edmonton Remand Center.
Fuck you. You deserved everything you got.
The man, who cannot be named to protect the identity of his victims, pleaded guilty to 10 charges relating to sexual assault, child pornography, and firearms in February. You are currently on a text element.
Ugh.
An Evansburg, Alta, man accused of sexually assaulting his 3 daughters over the course of 6 years has made a charter challenge arguing his treatment in the Edmonton Remand Center violated his rights. Image.
A charter okay, so he is so this is a picture. This is the caption that they have. So he's making a Charter of Rights and Freedoms challenge, uh, saying that his rights have been violated. And the Charter of Rights and Freedoms is our version of the Bill of Rights. And that, for us, that charter is what guarantees our right to freedom of speech. It also guarantees that you will have fair treatment in prison, that you and by fair treatment in prison, what they mean is that you will get a fair trial. You won't languish in prison while you're waiting for your trial to happen. And if you do happen to serve time, that you are basically afforded the basic, like you're not gonna get like thrown in somewhere in solitary confinement just because you're black. Like that's not allowed. Okay, like your basic equal rights is what the charter covers. I am guessing that this guy is going, I haven't read this article. What I'm guessing is this guy is going to say that his rights under the charter have for fair treatment in prison have been violated because the other prisoners are doing what they do to child rapists, and the guards are letting it happen. And this is he's having problems with this. Let's find out.
In Evansburg, Alta, man accused of sexually assaulting his three daughters over the course of 6 years has made a charter challenge arguing his treatment in the Edmonton Remand Center violated his rights. Kevin Tuoms, in June 2000. In June 2017, Staff Sergeant Stephen Camp, a member of the RCMP's Alberta Law Enforcement Response Team, Alert, described the abuse as monstrous. According to an agreed statement of facts, the man was arrested in November 2016 after a family member reported the abuse to police.
Good.
The man lived with his family on a rented acreage outside of Evansburg, Alta, that he had turned into a sort of compound.
Alta, whatever voiceover says Alta, it's ALTA. That's the shortened, like that's the prefix for Alberta. For anyone who's going, what's Alta? It keeps going between Alberta and Alta. Alta is Alberta. That guy is a slime ball, says Moonchuck. Throw him into solitary and throw away the key. Agreed. Freedom of speech in Canada? Hi, Brad. Yes. Is it bad that I don't really care what happens to him? No. No, it's not. It's really not.
Article continued below.
Article continued below, huh?
Safe
Okay,
frame.
let's see.
Court heard the man, motivated by the terrorist attacks in New York City on September. The man sexually assaulted his three daughters over a period. Court heard the man, motivated by the terrorist attacks in New York City on September 11, 2001, had been stockpiling guns and taking extensive weapons and tactical training. Investigators seized between 20 and 30 firearms from the acreage, as well as what appear to be grenades. What
the what does that have to do with assaulting his daughters?
The man sexually assaulted his three daughters over a period of 6 years, with his second-born daughter enduring the worst of his abuse. Not only did the man sexually assault her multiple times, he uploaded pictures of her to a website where he arranged to have strangers sexually abuse her on 2 occasions, participating in and recording one of these assaults on video. While the man admitted to his crimes, his defense team is filing a charter application arguing his mistreatment while in custody at the Edmonton Remand Center violated his rights to a degree where his charges should be stayed.
Hell no. I don't think there is any violation of your charter rights that can be so bad to have the charges of raping your daughters and arranging for other people to rape your daughters. And there is no way, there is nothing that happened to you in jail that could possibly make your charges worth setting aside. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Put that dirtbag under the prison, says Zombie Teddy. I agree.
If a judge agrees, this would mean the man would not face further prosecution on his charges and walk out of court a free man.
I fucking hope not. I really hope that there is that whatever judge gets this case is just smart enough to be like, no, fuck you. You're going back to prison. This is disgusting, and there's no way that he should have his charges stayed.
On Monday, Benedict Richards, an inmate who was incarcerated on the same unit as the man, testified to an assault the man suffered at the hands of another inmate on July 7, 2017. Richards said the man was assaulted in his cell, and the man turtled, curling up in the fetal position while he was repeatedly punched and kicked.
Good.
Article continued. Richards claimed prison guards were intentionally delayed in responding to the assault because the guard in control of access to the floor of the unit intentionally waited before unlocking the door, allowing the beating to continue.
Good.
They weren't worried about his safety, Richards testified.
Good. Sorry, I. What do you expect me to say? This, I usually like. Usually, this is. I really think this is gonna get set aside. Charges stayed? No way. The guards reprimanded for not doing their job? Maybe. Yeah. Let him rot, and I hope Bubba beats you to death with soap on a rope, says Seamus. I'm worried about him having too much safety. Yeah. Yeah, Mood Shock. I really have a feeling that this is going to get set aside because this is. His charges are so egregious that there is nothing that could have happened to him in prison that could make a judge go, you know what? It's okay that you raped your daughters and you arranged for other people to do the same thing. And you recorded that. Like there's so much stuff that he did that it would be ridiculous for them to set aside his charges.
After the assault, the man's shackles were locked so tight that he could not walk, Richards said, adding the guards laughed as the man stumbled. He said sexual offenders, which he called skinners, are often targeted for abuse by fellow inmates, and that some guards either turn a blind eye or actively encourage their mistreatment.
Okay.
Those accused of committing sexual offenses against children are considered the lowest of the low, Richards said. There is abuse that goes on in the Edmonton Remand Center because of the guards, Richards said. Richards said the man had been SHT bombed by a fellow inmate, where human feces was put in a bag and thrown into the men's cell.
Shit bombed, huh?
He said inmates housed in the same cell with sexual offenders feel pressure from other inmates to act out violently against them, lest they be seen to sympathize with the Skinner. Knowing this, Richards said guards will sometimes intentionally house sex offenders with non-sex offenders knowing the sex offender could be assaulted. If I was in with the Skinner, I would do something, too, said Richards, adding he would otherwise be at risk of violence from other inmates. You are current.
The guards were protecting the other inmates from that guy because he could have sexually abused them. This guy deserves nothing. Yep. Hi, Wikipedia snippet. This is Canada. We don't have Bubba. We have Chief Butterboom. Big Chief Butterboom. That's funny. There are some crimes that I believe we need to bring back the ancient torture methods. Yeah. The guards were getting coffee. Have to have priorities. Yeah. Sounded like the shekels instead of shackles. Yeah. The shackles were too tight. Oh, you just joined in. What is this about? This is about a piece of crap who's trying to have his charges set aside because he's claiming that his rights have been violated in prison. So I was right. I was right. He didn't get raped, but I said that he's trying to say that he's being beaten up in prison, so he's not getting his rights to serving a fair prison sentence or being treated properly in prison are not being met. Hey there, Richo. Blood eagles for pedos. Oh god. You have no rights when you're in prison. That's yeah. Well, you should have a right to, not eat moldy food or like. Hey, Scap. You should have the right to like eat food that's not going to kill you or, like I said before, not be sent into solitary confinement because of your skin color or, something like that. But you know, if you are low on the prison totem pole and you get the shit kicked out of you because of the crime that you chose to commit, I don't know, I don't feel so bad for you. Um Wikipedia snippet says, wasn't the blood eagle a Norse punishment that involved drawing your lungs out your back? I believe so. I believe it was.
Richard said he and the man were housed in Max Pod, where inmates are locked in their cells for 23 hours a day. In this unit, inmates are given 2 half-hour breaks outside of their cells in a fresh air room, where they can breathe fresh air through a metal grate, make calls, watch television, or use an exercise bike. There are no programs offered in this unit, Richard said, and anything used to entertain themselves for the remaining 23 hours a day, such as pens, paper, or playing cards, have to be purchased from the canteen.
Yes, because you're in jail. You're not in fucking a day camp. This isn't sleepaway camp, dude. This is jail. This is because you have done something wrong. You've screwed up. You're in jail. You don't get to have fun. Hi, Goatman. Hey, Martin. Uh, oh no, I didn't say he would have gotten moldy food. I'm just saying, like, that's one of the rights that you have, that I would think you have in prison, is to not get moldy food or anything like that. Um, so here we go.
The only other option for entertainment is access to a newspaper, one shared between all of the inmates on each floor, called a tier of the unit. Richard said these newspaper privileges are not shared with sexual offenders. Richard said inmates are often denied health care, mental health care, and access to prescription medications. As part of their charter application, the man's defense lawyers intend to call witnesses from the Edmonton Remand Center's administration. Their testimony will be heard on May 13th.
Wow.
Then, the judge will decide whether the man's alleged mistreatment is enough to warrant a more lenient sentence.
I would say not.
Claire Theobald is an Edmonton Bay.
So that's the end of that article. I'm definitely going to May 13th is the date of the of the of of the trial, so or of the testimony, so there will probably be another follow-up story, and I will definitely find out what it is, because I want to find out what the ruling is. I really do. So let's see what else Piccolo has for us here. Oh, momentito, please. Okay. Go faster. There we go. Sorry, guys. So, thank you to Blood again, from same guy from yesterday, for the $2 donation. Love the stream. Thanks again, dude. Thank you very much. Very appreciated. All right. Now let's go back into the DMs from Piccolo here. All right. Where is it? Oh, come on. Don't put me all the way at the fucking beginning of my message train with Piccolo. You suck. Okay, good. Sorry, guys. Twitter's being a bit of a dick. I'm having a bit of trouble with Twitter. Sorry about that. All right, here we go. Here we are. Indonesian election. More than 207 election staff died counting votes. Holy fuck. Oh, 270. I apologize. 270 election staff died while counting votes. That's a lot of people. How do you die counting votes? And so we've got a picture caption with the caption, "Woman casts her vote in Indonesia." Okay, so here we go.
The Indonesian election was one of the world's biggest one-day ballots. More than 270 election workers in Indonesia have died, mostly of fatigue-related illnesses caused by long hours of work counting millions of ballot papers by hand, an official says.
Oh, wow. So fatigue-related illnesses are causing these people to die because they're basically counting paper ballots. Oh, irate prostate's here. Moldy bread still beats MREs. Oh. Can somebody. Oh, hi, Scotsman. And remember, this is the society the retarded left wants us to follow, yeah? So yeah, it's just. This is why you don't rely on octogenarians to count votes. That's funny. Okay, let's see here.
Arif Pranio Sasanto, spokesman of the General Elections Commission, KPU, said 1,878 other staff had fallen ill.
Wow.
Some 7 million people were helping count and monitor the April 17th vote.
So you've got 1,800 people who have fallen ill from, I'm guessing, fatigue-related illnesses, and 270 of those people have died. Just from counting paper ballots. That is slightly insane. Actually, that's more than slightly insane. This is wow.
Staff were expected to work through the night in sweltering conditions, which took a hefty physical toll on many.
Yeah.
The elections were the first time a country of 260 million people combined the presidential vote with national and regional parliamentary ballots in order to save money.
Oh, okay. So, wow. So they were not just voting for a president, they were voting for like everything at once. Oh, wow. Were they mostly old people, says Martin? I don't know. Maybe it's most, well, here in Canada, there's a lot of elderly volunteers that come out during the provincial and federal elections to help do direct stuff. So maybe that's what's happening here. They have optical scanners for paper ballots in some places, says Wikipedia snippet. Okay. Votes kill. Huh.
Around 80% of the 193 million eligible voters cast their votes in more than 800,000 polling stations.
Holy shit.
List 2 items. Link, black square link, and but huge numbers have apparently taken their toll on temporary election staff, who, unlike civil servants, do not undergo a medical examination before starting work.
Oh.
The KPU spokesman said 272 election workers had died from overwork-related illnesses. Indonesia's election commission plans to compensate surviving families 36 million rupiah, 1,930 pounds, $2,500 for every deceased worker, roughly equivalent to 1 year's pay at minimum wage, according to the Nikkei Asian Review. You are
Wow.
currently on.
That's at least they're trying to do something, I guess, but that's a lot of money that could have been avoided by trying to, like, they were trying to save money, right? By putting all of these things into all by making everybody vote at the same time, but now look at all this money they have to pay out to the dead, to the survivors of the dead families.
Frames your the KPU. Both president critics say the government was not prudent for combining the elections and creating unrealistic expectations of temporary staff. Both President Joko Widodo and opposition presidential candidate Prabowo Subianto have declared victory, though quick counts suggested Mr. Widodo won the election by around 9-10 percentage points. You are currently the KPU will finish vote counting and announce winners of the presidential and parliamentary elections on May 22nd.
Wow. It's gonna take them until May 22nd, so that's the Wednesday. That's a Wednesday. That's May 22nd. Oh, there's all you need. Hello. You hear about unpaid interns that die from overwork issues. Yeah, that's true, Goatman.
Heading level 2. More on this story. Link. Copyright content info.
That's the end of that story. So, that sucks, man. That's a lot of people to die over votes, and it's a lot of money spent when you're trying to save money in the long run. So, very unfortunate set of circumstances. Okay. Okay. What's this here? Mayor and police chief ignoring studies that gun buybacks don't work. Oh boy. They're doing a gun buyback in Toronto right now because there have been so many shootings and they think that that's, going to work somehow. Okay, let's get through all of these sharing links here. Come on. Oh, the sun, you are so badly laid out. Okay, finally. Okay, here we go.
Who votes against the idea of cutting back on gun violence in Toronto? Maybe a few people because sadly convicted felons can vote in Canada.
What?
But for the rest of us, the goal should be no gun violence at all. The question is how we go about achieving that goal.
Wait, what? What?
Maybe a few people because sadly convicted felons can vote in Canada.
But what? Why? Why would? Why would you talk about? Why would convicted felons vote to have gun violence in Toronto? That's very specific. That's a weird way to start this article. Okay.
But for the rest of us, the goal should be no gun violence at all. The question is how we go about achieving that goal.
Okay.
The latest idea is an old idea. Last week, Toronto Mayor John Tory and Police Chief Mark Saunders announced a gun buyback program, offering money and some legal protections in exchange for turning in handguns and rifles. Play. The city will pay $200 for a long gun and $350 for a handgun if the weapon has not been used in a crime. It's time to rifle, sorry, through the attic and to take a shot, sorry again, at finding an old gun in the basement that you could sell to the city for some extra summer fun money. Pause.
Okay.
Story continues. This advertisement has not loaded yet. Dim. Chromebook gray screen frame. YouTube video player. Group look end of YouTube. When an idea is an old one, we can look for evidence of its effectiveness. I mean, we could if we wanted to. I am sure Tory and Saunders care deeply about gun violence, so why do they seem immune to evidence? 6 years ago, USA Today reported, spread across tables or piled high into overflowing stacks, all those weapons reinforce the notion that trading cash for guns works. It gets guns off the street, organizers say, and makes the city safer. The problem, according to years of research, is that it does neither.
Yep, it does neither.
Researchers who have evaluated gun control strategies say buybacks, despite their popularity, are among the least effective ways to reduce gun violence. They say targeted police patrols, intervention efforts with known criminals, and, to a lesser extent, tougher gun laws all work better than buybacks. List 5 items. Link. End of the. In the wake of the Newtown, Connecticut school shootings, gun buybacks were once again an issue. NPR reported at the time, a Harvard University study dating from the mid-1990s concluded that buybacks were largely ineffective in reducing gun violence because they weren't getting the right kinds of weapons off the street.
No, they're not. Because they only take legal weapons. So, or weapons that haven't been used in a crime. So, they're only going to take the guns from the law-abiding citizens. So what do they pay for guns that have been used in a crime, says Moonshot. They're talking about the mandatory gun. They're talking about the mandatory gun buyback or the long gun registry, where they said that if you're caught with a long gun, you're going to jail. Fuck this journalist. Or I could take those guns and have a good time with my buddies. Yeah. Surrender your gun, law-abiding citizens, so that criminals will stop committing crime. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I saw a story about the police buying back guns and then people steal the guns from the police and sell them back on the street. Yep. So the 95 gun murders that happened in Toronto in the past year, none of those guns can be turned in. Nope. This is retarded.
This isn't new information. Doing it again in Toronto fits the classic definition of insanity, doing the same thing and expecting a different result. They will correctly claim that gun buyback is just one thing they are doing to combat violent crime, but responsible leadership doesn't include wasting time and money on things that demonstrably don't work just for politically popular optics. YouTube video play. End of. The Boston Globe reported, gun buyback programs have been a staple of urban crime fighting measures for more than 2 decades, but a growing body of research has concluded they are ineffective, at best. A 2003 study of buyback programs nationwide by Anthony Braga, a crime specialist who is now a professor at Rutgers University, found that the programs had no impact on gun crime or gun-related injuries, and that the programs do not target guns highly likely to be used in violence.
No, they don't.
Somewhat facetiously but perhaps correctly, listeners to my News Talk 1010 radio show suggested that selling his least favorite, perhaps inoperable gun to the city is a good way for a criminal to get some cash to buy ammunition for his better guns. The program has been tried in Toronto in the past, yet 2018 was a record year for violence. You are currently...
This is stupid and it's not going to work, and I don't understand why people think that this is a good idea. People being politicians.
The research is available, but Toronto chose flashy politics over evidence-based substance. 11. York. Comments. Link.
And that's the end of that article, which was more of an opinion piece, and it was written very badly. Okay. What else? What else do we have? What other stories does Pencalo have for me? Let's see here. Oh, yes. Here's my titular article. So, Suicide rates or suicides among kids spiked after 13 Reasons Why study says. That that stupid Netflix show, 13 Reasons Why. It's John Tory though. He wants to be like the mayor of LA. Wants everything to be gentrified. Yeah, that's true. Porcupine selling its quills, hoping the badger won't eat it. Hey, AP. I'll turn in my gun to the authorities, said no criminal ever. That's not the definition of insanity. That's a quote from Einstein. Yes. Yes, titular. Titular. So let's read about how TV is gonna be this is an article about why it's Netflix's fault that suicide rates are spiking in teens after what they watch this show. All right. So the image that they have for this article is just a picture of the main character. So here we go.
Suicides among U.S. kids aged 10 to 17 jumped to a 19-year high in the month following the release of a popular TV series that depicted a girl ending her life, researchers said.
Okay, first of all, what the fuck is a 10-year-old doing watching 13 Reasons Why? That's not a show you say, oh, here, honey, watch this show. What? Do, like, am I the only one who, like, knows what my kids are watching? Like, am I the only one that puts the show on for my kids? Like, I know they're young, but like when my kids get older and they are able to operate the television remote,
Play.
shut up, computer. Do you think that I'm not going to make them keep the voice on the TV so I can hear what they're watching? Like this is
Pause.
why is this so hard for people to monitor what their kids are watching? Like I know you can't monitor your kids all the time, but and this is also why you talk to your kids and you tell them what they're watching on TV is not reality. If I had to watch it, I'd be tempted to off myself too. Simple. Why was the 10-year-old watching? Because the mother was probably watching and she wouldn't let the daughter leave the room. Yeah, that's true. Hey, Brian Mullins. Maybe it's too much information readily available. It's hard to control it. Yeah, that's true. Um, we do live in an age where it's a lot of information. Um, but that's why as parents, you sit and you talk to your kids about, what they're watching. You talk to them about what they're seeing. You talk to them about, okay, when you watch stuff on TV, it's not really happening. Like you provide them with that perspective. And if you see it getting to be too much for them, you turn it off. I mean, yeah, you're gonna have to deal with, them getting pissed off because the TV's off. But you know what? It's worth it. I'm still trying to learn that lesson myself, to be completely honest. Um, and it's y- you gotta resist the temptation to let the TV be the babysitter.
The study published Monday can't prove that the Netflix show 13 Reasons Why was the cause, but there were 195 more youth suicides than would have been expected in the 9 months following the show's March 2017 release. Given historical and seasonal suicide trends, the study estimated during April 2017 alone, 190 U.S. tweens and teens took their own lives. Their April 2017 suicide rate was 0.57 per 100,000 people, nearly 30% higher than in the preceding 5 years included in the study. An additional analysis found that the April rate was higher than in the previous 19 years, said lead author Jeff Bridge, a suicide researcher at Nationwide Children's Hospital in Columbus, Ohio. You are currently on a text element
So
inside a
this
web
is
content.
because parents are not talking to their kids about what they're watching. And yeah, you know what? This show does kind of glorify suicide. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I haven't seen. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't seen the show, but you've got to be very careful with how you portray suicide, um, because it can, in the minds of people whose frontal cortexes are not fully developed yet, it's very easy to make things seem glorious and sort of romantic in a sick way. And yes, Scotsman, that's a very good point. These shows have an age rating for a reason. Yes. And Seamus has another good point. Parents don't parent anymore. They want to be friends, not mentors. Yeah. Parents do want to be. If someone kills themselves, it's not because of bad TV. There's usually more to it, but it's easy to blame. Yes. Um, let's see. Every Mother's Day I send a card to our old TV. Does anybody still listen to radio? Uh, no. No idea what my kids are watching, but the youngest is almost 30 and don't live with me, thank God. Well, see, that's fine, Rolling Bear.
The creators of the series intentionally portray the suicide of the main character. It was a very graphic depiction of the suicide death, which can trigger suicidal behavior, Bridge said. Bridge acknowledged the study's limitations included not knowing whether anyone who died by suicide had watched the show. Also, the researchers were not able to account for other factors that might have influenced suicides. Those include the April 19, 2017, suicide of former New England Patriots player Aaron Hernandez and a man accused of a Facebook publicized killing who died by suicide the day before Hernandez. Bridge said those deaths couldn't account for the spike the study found for the entire month of April. The researchers analyzed data from the Federal Centers for Disease Control and Prevention on deaths in Americans aged 10 to 64 from January 2013 through December 2017. Their results were published in the Journal of the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry. The researchers found no change in suicide rates in those 18 and older after the show was released.
So they say that the spike occurred after the show, but they didn't bother to see whether these kids watched the show. That seems like a bad study. I'm just going to ask, are you using NVDA? No, I'm using VoiceOver. I am using a Mac, so I have VoiceOver. But I do like NVDA for Windows. If I were to ever use Windows again, I would use NVDA instead of JAWS in a heartbeat. Um Queen wrote a song about the radio, says Martin H. Yep, Queen did write a song about the radio. Sounds like every vegan study I've ever heard. Yeah, I know, right? Oh, excuse me.
The results are plausible and add to evidence that compelling media depictions of suicide can negatively influence young people, said sociologist Adam Mueller of the University of Chicago, who was not involved in the research.
How is the study plausible if they don't even have information on whether the people that killed themselves watched the show? That doesn't make sense. That's not a plausible study result at all. That's just silly. That's just silly, silly, silly.
Lisa Horowitz, a co-author and researcher at the National Institute of Mental Health, noted that suicide is the second leading cause of death for U.S. teens and called it a major public health crisis. Her agency helped pay for the study. Teen suicide rates have increased in recent years, and other research has suggested that bullying and heavy use of social media may contribute to the risk. You are currently on a
That I will say probably. Oh, sorry guys. Because people are still trying to figure out how to use social media properly. The issue with statistics, yep. More meaning there could be other reasons for the spike in suicides. It's almost as if correlation does not equal causation. Yeah, I know, right? So are we going to ban TVs now? Yeah, I know, right? Um, let's see. This study is extremely lazy. It is very lazy. Extremely, extremely lazy.
Netflix included warning messages with some of the episodes and created a website with crisis hotlines and other resources. In the second season, the show's actors offered advice to viewers on where to seek help. The series' third season will run later this year.
There's a third season? Oh my god. Why?
A Netflix spokesman noted that the new study conflicts with University of Pennsylvania research published last week that found fewer suicidal thoughts among young adults who watched the entire second season than among non-viewers.
Young adults. I love how they're using that term. So you're telling me that the second season of the series is like a counselor? That's just brilliant, Netflix.
We've just seen the study and are looking into the research, he said. This is a critically important topic and we have worked hard to ensure that we handle this sensitive issue responsibly. Horowitz said the new results highlight how important it is for parents and other adults to connect with young people.
Yes.
Start a conversation, ask how are they coping with the ups and downs of life, and don't be afraid to ask about suicide, she said. It's a myth that just asking might be a trigger, Horowitz said.
Yeah.
One of the best ways to prevent is to ask, she said. Save frame container. Edward link. Read.
So that's finally the end of that story. What a crazy, crazy thing. Let's see what Chad has to say. I've never been there myself, so I would never understand. I don't understand why somebody would kill themselves over a TV show. See, I have been suicidal. And a TV show or an episode of a TV show would never make me consider suicide. Like even when I was suicidal, and I watched some pretty heavy shit. It was never, I would never watch a TV like an episode of something and be like, "Hey, you know what? I think now's the time." Do you know what I mean? Like it was just handling the situation responsibly, publishing a really bad study, publishing or linking a TV show to suicide rates, really responsible. Like, yeah, I know, right? Just brilliant. All right, let's go get some more news. I think what we'll do is we will do one more story because my throat is starting to give out. And then we will do a few more chat stuff, and then we will stop the stream because my voice is not good enough for 2 hours yet. What do I have here? What do I have here? Guide dogs. So the long ways facing guide dog users. This is going to be interesting. Let's see if what they're talking about here. This is from the BBC. Let's see if I can find the actual story. There we go. Okay, so this is from April 28th. We've got a picture of a guide dog standing next to those like charity donation boxes from Guide Dogs for the Blind. So here's the story.
There are more than 1,400 guide dogs trained in the UK each year. For me to walk down the center of my village with a cane would be an Olympic event, but to do that with a dog is totally safe. The dog is trained.
Okay, no. Yes, for you to be walking down the center of your village with your cane would be an Olympic event. But not for everybody.
For the past 2 years, Eddie Wark has been on the waiting list for a guide dog. Since his dog Creighton retired on medical grounds in March 2017, Mr. Wark, a 52-year-old who lives in Dundonald, has had to go back to using a cane. Guide dog owners in the UK face an average wait of almost a year between their guide dog retiring and receiving a new dog.
Yeah, that's about the same here in Canada and the US too. They have to train new dogs. Like, it's not like they have and you don't want them to have puppy mills for guide dogs. Like, they are very selective with the dogs that they breed and the dogs that they use and the dogs that they train. This is an expensive, time-consuming process. They can't just pick any dog. The dog has to have the right temperament. The dog has to be trainable. The dog has to, like, what do they expect? This is okay. Let's
List 2 items. Link. Lex link. And while more than 1,400 dogs are trained in the UK each year, it is more than just a numbers game, and the process of matching an owner with a dog is a delicate one.
yes.
When you get the dog, you step up the ladder in terms of more independence, says Mr. Wark, a national account manager for manufacturer Swift Fine Foods. The reassurance that it gives you, and the confidence that it gives you. Advertisement. Ukraine 2. Heck, with owners having their guide dogs for about 8 years, a lot goes into the matching process. We are continually putting measures in place, and I would say the waiting time is one of our biggest priorities, explains Andrew Murdoch, Policy and Engagement Manager with Guide Dogs NI. Depending on the person, how old they are, how fast they walk, their temperament, these things all go into it. You are currently on.
Yep.
Some dogs will be tall, some will be small. In the matching process, they look at the physical control someone has. Even something like voice intonation can be a significant factor in successfully placing a guide dog, says Mr. Murdoch.
Very true.
A young service dog image. Image, image caption. Matching a guide dog can depend on age, a person's walking speed, temperament, and even voice intonation. If someone is working in an office, they need a dog who is relaxed and doesn't mind lying down. That is something else which would be considered, he adds. Heading level 2. Eddie Wark's dog Creighton, which he had for 2 years, was retired when he became too unsettled to work. He was such a beautiful dog. He was a long-haired black retriever with salmon eyes, and these used to just melt people, recalls Mr. Wark. You are currently on Eddie Wark image. Eddie Wark. Image caption. Eddie Wark. Describing navigating with a dog is fabulous. He says using a cane is much more sensitive. You need to concentrate 100% to use it properly, he says. You are currently on it.
It depends on whether or not you're like, because I don't find that I need to concentrate 100%. Like, if I'm doing a new route, then yes, I need to concentrate. But if I'm doing a route I know, I'm pretty like I'm paying attention, right? But I'm not. I don't need to focus too much. Um, I find if I think too much about what I'm doing, then I end up screwing it up. But that it depends on the blind person, right? Like it totally depends on like how if they are totally blind, if they have some vision, if they have balance issues. Let's see. I think I'm annoying my broker with my cheeriness. It's really funny. Come on. We found out from the dog lady that came to see us. The dogs have to go through a selective breeding process for speed. Yeah, it is. It's quite interesting. Yeah, it is. Oh, your dog retired. Let me go grab a fresh one off the shelf. Yeah.
And that's hard to do. It's very tiring. If you're not concentrating 100%, you can miss a curb, especially if it has been trimmed down.
Well, see, but again, like that's
Heading level
yeah.
2. Bridges the gap. Stephen Campbell, who swam for Ireland in the 2008 Beijing Paralympics, applied for his first dog around the start of 2005 and was matched with Finn in the early part of 2007. I got around a lot faster, a lot safer, he says. Stephen Campbell, image. Image Stephen Mac image caption. Stephen Campbell competed for Ireland in the Beijing Paralympics. It did give me a sense of freedom. I was on the Ireland squad for 8 years. Having the dog with me to go down to Dublin, I was just a lot more independent. Having worked alongside him throughout his entire adult life, when it came time for Finn to retire in 2015, he made the decision not to go back on the list immediately, so he could keep Finn in his retirement. Finn was in the tech with me in Dungannon. He went to university at Magie with me, and then he was at Queen's with myself in my postgrad. He was also part of the family as well, he said. You are currently Mr. Campbell has been back on the waiting list since January 2018. He says it took around a year after his dog retired for his cane skills to return to where they were previously.
That's not surprising.
The dog somewhat bridges that gap where it makes a person notice, he says. When they notice the dog, they follow the dog's head to the harness, and then the harness to the lead, and the lead to me, and they realize, oh, it's a guide dog. Heading level 2. Walking down the road drunk. For Eddie Wark, the process of finding a dog to suit his professional needs has been difficult, with 3 unsuccessful attempts at a match. He says his perfect dog would have energy, but would still be calm enough to stay in an environment where it is busy. With the last dog I tried to match with, Bella, it was okay in a crowded environment, but then you're not in top gear, he says. On an open stretch, I couldn't keep her straight. Her head is cocking around to the left, so she's leaning around to the left, and then I'm trying to correct that by going around to the right, and you would have thought me and Bella were drunk walking down the road.
Oh, yeah. That kind of that can happen. Um so it does take like there's a reason why it takes a while to find a dog. There's a reason the wait list is so long. It's not because, you know, for any bad reason. It's for the safety of dog and of human.
Heading level 2. Related topics.
And that's the end of that article. So I think I'm going to go for chat time now, guys. Um, so, um, if you guys have anything you want to say, um, now is your time. And I think now is the perfect time because I believe I hear a kicking of Logan. I believe I hear Logan kicking on his crib. So it's perfect timing for me to do a few minutes of chat time and then sign off, I think. Um, so tomorrow's gonna be Wednesday with I think I would like to say cornflakes, says Pumpkin Trucker. Make yourself a hot toddy tonight when you're ready to settle down. Oh, you know what? I just might. I just might do that. Um, let's see. So tomorrow's gonna be Wednesdays with Skep, and also I will be on Minions of the Zoo tomorrow night. And we'll be doing the show at the normal 12 o'clock time, the coffee stream at the normal 12 o'clock time. So come back for that time, and I think we'll be able to go for the full 2 hours uh, this time tomorrow. I hope everyone has a really good day. Stay safe out there. Have a great one. We'll see everybody back here tomorrow. And hopefully I'll be even better than I was today. Have a great one, guys. Thanks for watching.